Hey besties! Unfortunately, Riri cannot join us for today's episode, only because it is the first week of June, and it is every high schooler's worst nightmare, which is where teachers like to assign final unit tests, final assignments, and most importantly, exams. Now, for those of you who are in high school or like the final semester of your summer school, like wherever you are, one more month, guys. Just push it. I know you guys got this. You guys stay healthy. Treat yourself. Some point of the day. I don't care if it's like 3 a.m. Like, treat yourself. Like, take a deep breath. Or walk outside. Or literally eat something. Or drink something. Because you guys matter. Because if you guys are healthy, you are able to learn effectively. And those of you who are not in school or who just graduated, just keep going. Just keep going. And stay healthy, as I said, because you guys got this. Because there's going to be a lot of things in the future, in your future, and you guys need to prepare yourselves for it. And for that, you need to be healthy. You guys need to be healthy. You guys need to be positive. Please persevere, and I hope you guys achieve big things. Yeah, I don't really know how to end these off, but there we go. That's the compliment of the day. And welcome, guys, to the Fixing Life with Kiki and Riri podcast. My name is Kiki. Hopefully, Riri will join us later on, but we'll see. We'll see, guys. We'll see. Now, if you aren't already, please follow or subscribe to our socials. And maybe, if you're kind enough, please buy me a coffee. It will mean the entire world for me, and I can deliver more effective content. And honestly, it would make our day. It would make mine and Riri's day. However, you don't need to. You guys don't need to. I'm not going to force you, obviously. Because, like I said, you guys matter first. You guys matter first. Anyways, quick question before we jump into today's topic. If you can pass a class without ever showing up, should attendance still matter? Because every semester has two groups of students. The first group, sitting in the front row, taking notes, highlighting every sentence, color-coding their entire life, literally. And you have the second group, who somehow only appear twice a semester, which is once on the first day, and once for the final exam. However, they somehow still get an A. Like, educate me. How is that possible? How do y'all get A's? And then you have people like me, who attend every single class, and are staring at their grades like, how did that happen? Now, today's debate is, should attendance matter? Are you team attendance or team I can learn from my bed? Let's get into it. And since we can't really do it debate style today, as Riri is not here, I'm just going to go through both sides of the argument, and then I'm going to go over some hot takes, a story, and then I'm going to go over the final verdict. Now, let's start with the argument that attendance shouldn't be necessary. Honestly, first, before I go into both sides, I need you guys to really keep this in mind because everyone learns differently. Depending on your work style, you can do whatever you please. And for me, honestly, I do enjoy coming to class only because I learn better than I learn from home. Because whenever I'm at home, I get distracted big time. Although when I'm in class, like, everyone's staring at me, the teacher's staring at me, so it just kind of maybe forced me to get into work mode. So, in my opinion, I like coming to class. Anyways, and also, some people genuinely learn better on their own. If a student can read the textbook, watch videos, study independently, and still ace every test, why should they be forced to sit in a classroom? Now think about that. Schools are always telling students to become independent learners. But the second someone learns independently, they're asking, actually, where were you at 8 a.m.? Make it make sense. If the goal of education is learning, then results should matter more than physical appearance. Because showing up doesn't automatically mean you're learning. We've all seen that one student is staring into space for the entire lesson. Or they may be scrolling through online shopping websites, planning their future wedding, or deciding where to eat after school. And somehow that still counts as attendance. You see the gap there? And meanwhile, another student could stay home, study efficiently for an hour, and understand the entire unit, which, as you know, could never be me. And now, before the teachers listening start drafting angry emails, first of all, relax. Let's talk about the other side first, before we write that angry email. Because attendance doesn't matter. I meant to say does matter. Learning isn't just about passing tests, because being in class gives you opportunities that can't always be recreated online. You can ask questions immediately, you can participate in discussions, and also you can work with classmates. You can also hear the explanations that aren't written in the textbook, hence why I like coming to class. And sometimes you don't even realize what you'll understand until a teacher explains it to you differently. Although I have definitely had moments where I thought I understood the lesson perfectly, then the teacher gives one example and suddenly everything clicks. Like, where was your explanation 20 minutes ago? But, guys, I'm gonna bring in the discipline lesson here. You guys are not gonna like it, but I'm just gonna put it in there. Attendance also builds habits. Now, let's be real. In life, you can't always decide to skip things because you don't feel like going. Because once you get into jobs, you have schedules, meetings happen, responsibilities exist. And unfortunately, if nobody requires attendance, how many students would actually show up? Like, be honest. Some of you just got called out, and including myself sometimes. I only skip classes for exam purposes, but I'll get to that later. And we all know that one person who says, "Don't worry, I'll watch the lesson later." But then later becomes tomorrow, then tomorrow becomes next week, then next week becomes the night before the exam. And suddenly they're in the group chat sending messages like, "Hey guys, what did we do for the last 6 weeks?" Every semester, like clockwork. I actually know someone who thought they could teach themselves everything and barely came to class. At first it worked. Their grades were fine, they were confident, but maybe a little too confident. And eventually, they started missing the small things. Assignment instructions, due dates, announcements, class discussions, and the little details that don't show up on every study guide. By the end of the semester, they're spending way too much time catching up than they spent actually attending in the first place. And that's the hidden cost no one likes to talk about. But it's there. Now, I think the real question isn't, should attendance matter? The real question is, how much should attendance matter? Because making attendance worth like 30% of your grade feels a bit excessive. But pretending attendance has zero value doesn't make sense either. So there has to be a balance. Now, let's jump into some hot takes. So here's hot take number 1. Attendance is not the same thing as engagement. Just because you're physically present doesn't mean you're mentally present. And honestly, I think a lot of schools confuse the two. And hot take number 2, mandatory attendance doesn't guarantee learning either. Because I've sat in classes where attendance was required, and half the room looked like they were buffering. People were sleeping, people were texting, people were watching videos, and people were mentally on vacation. And it would be funny, because some teachers would literally point them out too. And for a person that comes to every single class, I found that pretty funny. And literally, they were there physically, but their brains had already clocked out like 5 minutes into the lesson. So if attendance is supposed to guarantee learning, why doesn't it always work? Now, here's hot take number 3, our last hot take. Attendance should support learning, not replace it. If a student understands the material, completes assignments, participates when possible, and consistently performs well, attendance shouldn't be the biggest factor for determining their success. At the same time, though, completely removing attendance requirements would probably create academic chaos. And let's all be honest about that. Now it's story time from our favorite year in this entire podcast at this point, my first year of university. I know some of y'all are thinking, "Oh my goodness, here we go again." But let me be clear. If I did not get the message in first year, I would have been a dropout by now. But because I learned these lessons in the beginning, I was able to persevere and get all the way to where I am today. And I'm letting you guys know, I'm preparing you guys before you actually get into the whole chaotic mess of first year. Now, let's get into it. For one of my classes, I was told that attendance was worth 30% of our grade. So I locked in. I went to every class at 8 a.m., had my notes ready, and at first was ready to learn. However, when I went to class, I was mentally not there because I tend to daydream a lot during class. But since I was there for every day of class, I got the attendance grade, but I didn't get the grades that I hoped for by the end of the semester because I did not prioritize the other components. I passed assignments, but barely passed exams. And you guys know, exams are worth a very big chunk of your grade. So not prioritizing exams, that's concerning. And now, when I went to second year, yes, I did go to my classes, but then I changed my approach of attending mandatory classes and sometimes sacrificing my time for non-mandatory courses to work on any assignments or exam prep if I needed. But yes, I still attended those classes, but I only did not show up for 5%, like roughly 3. Am I not gonna lie? 3 out of the 12? Somewhere around there. Anyways, now although I don't encourage you to not go to class, but just know what to prioritize. Manage your time effectively. If you need to skip that one day of that one class that doesn't consider attendance, you can skip a day if you need to, as long as you catch up. Also, if you don't feel very well or not able to come to class for any reason, as I said in the beginning, you matter first. Stay healthy, get some rest, and most importantly, take care of yourself because you're the one who come into class to learn. And to effectively learn, you need to stay healthy so you can focus. And my final verdict? I think attendance should matter, but not so much that it becomes more important than actual learning. Showing up needs to have that value. You gain experiences, discussions, support, and opportunities that can be difficult to replace on your own. But education should reward learning first, not just occupying a chair for 75 minutes. That's where I stand. But now I want to hear from you. Are you team attendance or independent learning? Would you still go to class if attendance didn't count at all? And don't lie either, literally give your honest opinion. And let me know what you think in the comments as well. And now I'm going to end off this episode by mentioning to you guys that you guys are amazing and we're going to fix life together. So stay strong. And until next time, bye besties.